Hello, that looks like a lovely room.
It is. It's very nice. It's much nicer than my rented accommodation, I can tell you that. How are you doing? Has it been a long day?
Yeah, but it's nice. It's always nice hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always feel weird delving straight in, but I guess we're limited on time, so I will. I suppose, what struck you most about the script when you first read it?
I guess it was, I've never read this kind of story before. I have no idea how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it like just completely it provoked me, and I kind of felt like more drawn asking myself why I hadn't had this conversation before, or been part of this conversation, and wanting to be part of it ultimately in the end. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And both of your characters react so differently to the situation. You know, I think that creates an amazing tension throughout. But what struck me most is that despite the violence, kind of at its core, it's about community. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that was it Sarah who said something really early on that I think a lot of like some of the research that have been done into the aftermath of sexual abuse and violence is that the people who are able to not come to terms with, but are able to heal, often do it in community. And it's harder to heal when you're in isolation and dealing with it as an individual on your own. And I think what these women have is a community that a lot of them have had similar experiences, different, but similar, and that they are able to support each other and love each other and care for each other and listen to each other. And I think that too often in society, that's not something that happens or isn't encouraged to happen. And because there's a deep-seated shame about anything that's to do with sexual violence and abuse. And I think that these women are able to they're able to disagree, they're able to find common ground, and they're also able to move together and make a decision that, you know, our characters have very, very particular positions, and both of them come to a different conclusion by the end, not because they are fundamentally changed as people necessarily, but because they are seeing that for a collective group of people, for a community, for the people that they love, they can envisage a different world, envisage a different way of doing things, understand that someone else might have a more sensible way of doing things or something. And that I think is really, really important. And we don't have enough community and collective action anymore, I don't think, really.
Yeah. And in the movie, there's a particular scene where you all kind of burst out laughing, and it's so unexpected. And was that kind of your coping mechanism offset as well? Because I imagine it was very heavy.
Definitely a coping mechanism.
Yeah, we laughed a lot. We had a great time making this film. It was so fun, even though it was like intense, but you're, you know, working with just the most incredible people. Like, it was so exciting to go to work every day and not know what was going to happen, and if somebody was going to shout at you or laugh at you or like cry at you, or, you know, it was just everything was possible, which was brilliant. But we had great fun.
No Sunday fear then?
Huh?
Sorry?
No Sunday fear then?
No.
And you were representing the Irish contingent on set there, Jessie. Did you introduce anything uniquely Kerry?
Did
A sense of
you know,
humour.
Claire's half Irish as well, sure. With the name like boy.
Jessie's the naughtiest person alive. I don't know I don't think that's anything to do with Ireland. I just think maybe that's just intrinsically in who she is.
Maybe that was my Catholic upbringing. Yeah, it makes your Catholic upbringing makes you extra naughty, I guess.
I'm getting the exclusive here. In the movie, Rooney Mara's character as well, she talks about kind of how love and the absence of love often incites violence. Would you have any take on that? Like, what would your thoughts be on the matter? I know it's a very difficult question.
Very difficult. I feel like there's a lot of conflict always, and there always has been in the world. And I just think if we were all a little bit more like Ona and like Rooney's approach to things, which is to be able to say really bold, divisive sometimes things, but in a way that is not trying to create a problem. It's just to ask the question.
Mhm.
You know, I feel like she's a pretty good example of how you can have really difficult conversations and still love and still treat people with compassion and understanding. And actually, Ona and Marika have she has a go at Marika at a certain point, and she's still able to turn around and go, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. She apologizes. Like, I just think Ona's pretty amazing at being able to do that. Our characters aren't necessarily examples of non-conflict, unfortunately.
But there's a way to have constructive conflict as well. And actually, what was interesting about this was actually women, I think, between each other aren't very good at allowing conflict to exist in a healthy, like, growing way. Sometimes we try and pacify things because we want to nurture and care and make things okay. But actually there is a place to grow from conflict that's done well, not out of kind of violence or aggression.
Yeah, completely agree. Thank you so much for talking with me. I'm sorry our time's already up.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Sarah.